Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Oh, falling off my stool. Right, today we are going to be looking at some fantasy standalone recommendations because I feel like there's a lot of fantasy series and a lot of fantasy authors I think focus on writing a series or aim to write a series that like sometimes a lot of the really good standalones we kind of just like get pushed to the side because everyone's like Akata, ah! Crescent City, ah! And everyone's just like reading all the series, but there's actually some really good lonely gals out there, so we're going to talk about some of them today. Also, I think if you're just getting into reading in general or just getting into reading fantasy as a genre, standalones are the way to go. I know so many people are like, if you're trying to get into fantasy, you should read ACOTAR, you should read Fourth Wing. I disagree. I think if you're not used to the genre, I think it's safer to start with a standalone than pressuring yourself to read 5+ books. That's just my personal opinion. I mean, if you're new to the genre and you read ACOTAR and you love it, like the first one, then sure, read the rest of the series, that's up to you. But I just think it's better to ease people into the genre with standalones rather than dumping series of books on them that are like all interconnected and have like 12 books to read, because that's kind of daunting. And I think maybe that puts people off of fantasy because they're like, oh, I don't know, like what, you know? I've somehow messed with my camera settings and now there's like a little, you guys can't see it, but there's like a little square right over my eye and it's bugging me. It's like tracking my eyes. Don't know how to turn that off. Anyway, so let's just get into it. So, I'd say this book is probably maybe the most known. Oh, I've got a really itchy nostril. Anyway, it's probably the most known, I just spoilt it. But it's probably the most known fantasy standalone, and that is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. So I'll read you the blurb and then we'll get into it. Oh, I didn't know this, but oh, this is an old book. This was longlisted for the Orange Prize for Fiction in 2012. When was this published? If it was prized in first published in Great Britain in 2011. Crikey, she's old. The blurb doesn't give that much away. Having read the book, I'm like, it's nothing like the blurb. But anyway, the circus arrives without warning. No announcements precede it. It is simply there when yesterday it was not. And that's literally all it says. Yeah, and I read a Goodreads review and it was like, this book isn't about what it says it's about. So like it is about the circus, but it's about so much more than the circus. This is the one on this list that I've read the most recently, so it's the one I can off the top of my head tell you the most about. But yeah, it's got like, because I'm like, do I tell you? Or do I just let you think it's about the circus when it's not about the circus? Oh my gosh, my spine is a little bit creased. Oh my god, why did I do that? How did that happen? Oh, I love the smell of the book. Anyway, basically, there's this circus. And there's two magicians that are a part of the circus that have real magic. No one else in the circus knows this. And the circus is like the stage for them competing to show off their powers. So yeah, the circus is magic. That's how it is that's how it astounds everybody that goes there. That's why it becomes such a big success, because a lot of the things in it that are made by these magicians to show off are made with magic. But like obviously people don't know that. So everyone's like, oh my god, this is so cool. And yeah, it straddles a couple of times. Yeah, it kind of goes over a couple of different timelines. It switches point of view. So this isn't the kind of book that you could like read a couple chapters, leave it for a week, come back to her. Like, you need to invest in her, because otherwise you won't know what's going on. You won't know. Because like if you leave it, you're gonna forget where you are. And you're just gonna be like, wait, hold on. Who's this? Who's that? What time is it? Like, So it's like one of those TV shows where you got to pay attention. This is that in book form. So you got to invest in her. You got to invest. I'm gonna read you a couple of Goodreads reviews. Because a lot of these I read a while ago. Like even the Night Circus I read about a year ago. See, someone's literally put, it's a hard book to summarise. It is a hard book to summarise. I don't know how to put it into words. Okay, do you know what? I'm just, because there's a lot of Goodreads reviews that say things, so I'm going to say things. Basically, it's got rivals to lovers. Is that on, or is it on the camera? It's on the camera. There's like a dot on the camera. I couldn't tell if it was on me or if it was on the thing. Anyway, yeah, so basically there's these two really old magicians. Like, these two guys have been kind of like enemies for centuries. Not enemies, but like rivals for like centuries. And one of them has a daughter, and she comes to live with him. And the other guy, and she has her dad's magical powers. And then the other guy rocks up, and the dad is like, you want to have a contest? And the other guy's like, sure. And apparently this is something they've been doing for years upon years upon years. And so he goes to an orphanage and he finds his guy, and they basically raise them their whole lives to like hone their magical abilities so that they're ready for this big contest. And the venue is the Night Circus. And the two guys, they know they're in competition. They don't know who the other one is. They just know they're in competition with this person, this other person, they don't know. But then they fall in love. But they don't know how to end the game, because it gets to the point where they're like, I love you, I don't want to compete anymore. And like a whole bunch of stuff goes down. It's kind of an emotional roller coaster. Why am I doing this to my hair? It's an emotional roller coaster. But it's so immersive. But yeah, if you like rivals to lovers, but they're kind of unknown rivals. I don't know, I'm going to count it as rivals to lovers, because like, they were rivals. Yeah, Do you know, just read it and you'll understand. That's what I'm going to say. But yeah, I'd say this is probably, maybe not an introduction to fantasy, but like if you've read a couple, then maybe hop onto this. Just because you gotta pay attention to the laws of the realm, you know? But yeah, the world building is magnifique. Yeah, she's just cute. She's cute. And yeah, it's about the people, but it is more about the circus. It's a tricky one. Like, it's a really hard book to explain. I shouldn't have picked this one for the video, honestly, because it's, even now, like, it's messing with my mind, because I'm like, how do I explain this? So we're going to move on, because that one's giving me a migraine. So the next one we are going to talk about, she's an unknown girly. She really is an unknown girly, but it is Witherwood by Hannah Matthewson. So this book, I mean, she's technically not a standalone. Oh, but here's the thing, so there's another book by the same author that came out after this one. It's set in the same world, but it's a prequel. And I've not read the prequel, I've not read it. And it's about a different main character, different everything. So like, they're interconnected standalones, I would say. But again, I've not read that one. So I have it, I've just not gone around to reading it yet. Because I wanted this to continue. And then when I found out that the next one isn't a continuation, I wasn't as desperate to pick it up and read it. But it's fine. So yeah, let's talk about Witherwood. I shall read you the blurb. So it says, welcome to the Witherwood and to a London that is not quite like our own. Here, it's summertime in February, the underground is a cavern of wonders and magic fills the streets. But this London is a city divided, split between 6 rival magical factions, each with their own extraordinary talents, and the alpha of the changelings, Gideon Ravenswood, has gone rogue, threatening the fragile accords that hold the city together. Isla is a shape-shifting changeling who has spent the first 17 years of her life marooned in the wrong London. Alone, she scratched out a living as a stage magician's assistant, dazzling audiences by using her changeling talents to perform the impossible. When she's dragged through the portal into the Witherwood, Isla finally feels like she belongs, yet her new home is on the brink of civil war. Pulled into the fray, Isla must use all the tricks up her sleeve to stay alive. I want to read this again. It's been like 2 years since I read this. Like, I think I read this not that long after it came out. And I absolutely loved it. I want to read it again now that I've read the blurb. I want to read it again. Because I loved it that much. The first thing that someone's put in their review on Goodreads is, stop what you're doing and read this book. You should stop what you're doing and read this book. If you are a fantasy reader and you've got a wide plethora of fantasy that you've read, if you enjoyed A Darker Shade of Magic, or what did I write down? Dark Shade of Magic, City of Bones, anything like that. Like, I think if you're a Cassandra Clare fan, V.E. Schwab fan, anything like that, you'll like her. You will like her. There's a bit of a romance, but it's not the main plot. I would not say this is a fantasy, I would not say this is a romantasy book. It is a fantasy book with like a romance or a couple romances, but like they're not the main focus. The world building, I remember the world building being phenomenal and creating like the lore of the magic. It was so like easy to understand. Like, you just knew straight away like everything that was going on. There's so much action. It is such a good read. Like, I read it in a couple days. Like, you'll fly through it because like there's always something. There's always some kind of danger. There's always some kind of action. Do you know what? Even if it's just like a little bit like danger simmering underneath the surface of a couple chapters, you just like, you know it's there. You know, like something's coming, you know? Something's coming, you know. It's so good. It's so good. I want to read it again. I want to read it again right now. I want to read it again right now. Right now. I really, really hope she brings out another one, because she brought out the prequel and then there's like nothing on her Twitter or her Instagram anymore about any new books. So I don't know, I hope she's not like been dropped by her publisher or anything like that, because that would make me really sad. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, this ends on a bit of a cliffhanger. And that's probably also why I was so upset when the next book that she brought out didn't carry this on, when it was like a prequel. Maybe that was the mistake she made. Maybe that's why she's not published anything since, because maybe people didn't buy the next one because it wasn't a continuation. But she ends on a cliffhanger. But it's so good, it's worth it. It's worth it. It's so worth it. It's also set in like, I want to say Victorian times. Is it Victorian? I know, but like a historical fantasy action. If those are your vibes. It's just so good. It's so good. Like the creation of the Witherwood and the world building and just everything is so good. The writing is so good. It's so good. It's so, I really want to reread this now. Oh my gosh, we do a book club. Well, not like book club. Well, I guess it's kind of a book club at work. And I might pick this for my read, for everyone else to read. And then everyone else can be upset when they get to the end. And then I'll be like, yeah, I know. And there's not another one. Enjoy. I'm not selling this to you, am I? The fact that I'm like, yeah, there's a cliffhanger and there's not another one. Maybe she's got another one in the works. I don't know. Oh, should I DM her on Instagram? I was actually thinking this a couple weeks ago, like, do I DM this girl and be like, are you writing another book? Or is that, like, crazy? If she ever finds my channel, and if Hannah Matthewson, if you're watching this, please tell me you're gonna write another one. Please. Thank you. Okay, now the next two, well, technically the next four, but the next two, like, rounds of books are by the same author. So we are going to first talk about, where is she? There she is. I've talked about her a lot, but we're going to talk about her again. Midnight in Everwood by M.A. Kushner. It is a little nutcracker retelling. I read you the blurb in my December book recs video, and probably also in the video where I first talked about reading this, but I'm going to read it to you again in case you didn't see any of those videos. So, set in Nottingham, 1906. Marietta Stell longs to be a ballerina, but as Christmas draws nearer, her dancing days are numbered. She must marry and take up her place in society in the new year. But when a mysterious toy maker, Dr. Drosselmeyer, purchases a neighbouring townhouse, it heralds the arrival of magic and wonder in Marietta's life. After Drosselmeyer constructs an elaborate theatrical set for her final ballet performance on Christmas Eve, Marietta discovers it carries a magic all of its own, a magic darker than anyone could imagine. As the clock chimes midnight, Marietta finds herself transported from her family's ballroom to a frozen sugar palace. Silent with secrets, in a forest of snow-topped fir trees, she must find a way to return home before she's trapped in Everwood's enchanting grip forever. It's so good. I reacted, also when I did my 1-star Goodreads reviews of books that I love, I reacted to some 1-star reviews of this, and I remember somebody, I don't know if I put it in my video, but I read when someone was saying like, oh, like everything's about like, when every time something's described it's like chocolate and hazelnut, like what's with all the sweet metaphors? And I'm like, because it's a nutcracker retelling, and in the nutcracker they go to the land of sweets. It's, you know, it's like, that's why. How could you not get that? But yeah, people, when I read the 1-star reviews, they were like, oh, like the prose tries too hard and stuff, or like it's all too flamboyant. I'm like, that's what I loved. I loved how elaborate it was. So if you're a fan of like kind of elaborate, drop my phone. If you like elaborate writing styles, this would be a good one. Again, like I've said this with all these books, but the world building is so good. And with fantasy books, the most important thing, in my opinion, is the world building. If you're going to create this new magical realm with these new magical rules, you need to make it clear AF what is going on. Because otherwise, like, people aren't going to enjoy reading it, and it's going to be like a brain ache, and it's going to just be a struggle. None of these books have that problem. Especially Midnight in Everwood. The second Girlie gets to Everwood, I could see it, like clear as friggin' day. Like the whole time, everything is just so richly described. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. There is a bit of a romance. If you like your fantasies with a side of romance, she got romance. Let's read some more Goodreads reviews, because it has been like 3 years since I read this book. Yes, someone has said, the way that this author writes, the only way I can describe it is ethereal. Simply ethereal. Yes, that is exactly how I feel. I have never read writing like this, consistently poetic throughout each chapter. It is. Oh, okay, so she's put some quotes. Let's read some quotes and see if these quotes can convince you to read the book. They were as translucent and delicate as if they had been crafted from moonbeams. Ballet was poetry in motion, and Marietta lived to lose herself in dance. Stunning. Of the icy wasteland of the vast northern tundra, where reindeer roam, the moon shivers and the northern lights enchant the sky. Stunning. Stunning. Ooh, The world slipped away until there was nothing but Marietta and the stage she stood on, and so she danced, giving life to Aurora, lending the princess a voice. So it's so beautifully written, guys. Like, I don't even care about the plot. Like, I would just read a bunch of random, like, M.A. Kushner could just write a bunch of random sentences that, like, aren't coherent at all and just, like, have them in, like, a 300-page book of just, like, random sentences, and I would eat that shit up. I'd eat it up. Because just she writes in the most beautiful way. Beautiful. Carrying on, also by M.A. Kushner, Upon a Frosted Star, which is The Great Gatsby x Swan Lake. And this is the most recent adult book she has come out with. She recently published, I think, like a kid's book that I don't have my hands on. I might buy it at some point, but it's not my priority right now. So yeah, this is, I don't know what I was saying. But yeah, this is her most recent adult novel. So, the invitations always arrive the same way, without warning, appearing around the city on the first snowfall of the year, simply inscribed with "Tonight." When struggling artist Forster finds an invitation, he's bewitched by the magic. I don't know why I'm acting like I've not read this book and I didn't already have an idea of how to pronounce the name. Anyway. He's bewitched by the magic of the evening, swept up in the glamour of this notorious annual party, and intrigued as to who is behind them. Determined to find out more about the mysterious host, Forster discovers an abandoned manor silent with secrets and a cursed woman who is desperate to be free. So again, there are elements of ballet, but it's not like in the Midnight in Everwood where the main character is the ballerina and, you know, she's a woman struggling with what her place in, what people tell her place in society is meant to be. The main character is a male. He is an artiste, and how like all the metaphors in Midnight in Everwood were like sweet based because of like the Nutcracker, the Land of Sweets. Everything in Upon a Frosted Star is described as like paint colours, because obviously the whole book is like through Forster's kind of like eyes, and you know, he sees things as paint colours, which I just think is so beautiful the way M.A. Kushner does this in all her novels. Like, it's just that much more immersive. I just don't know how to explain her writing, guys. Like, please let me know in the comments if you've read either of her, like, most popular books, which would be like these two. I think Midnight in Everwood is the one that like really took off for her. I think she'd written a couple books before then, but she wasn't like, woo, big until like Midnight in Everwood. I think I'm right. Yeah. But yeah, if you've read either of these, please tell me, because like let's talk about the writing together, because it's so good, so good. Let's read some Goodreads reviews. I talked about this in a video, like after I just finished reading it. I'll link it on the screen if you want to hear my 2 cents on it, because honestly, as much as I love all these books, a lot of things fall out of my head very quickly. I just kind of remember the vibes and how much it meant to me. I always see these memes on Instagram where it's like, when someone asks me about the book that I told them I loved, even though like I don't remember anything about it, I'm like, that's me. Because I'm just like, it was good. You know, that's me. This one, the romance is a lot more prominent than Midnight in Everwood. So if you're more of a romance person, then maybe pick up Upon a Frosted Star first. If you want to try M.A. Kushner's writing. I don't think I need the Goodreads reviews for this one because I kind of remember things. So there's a ballerina that has been cursed to be a swan, as in Swan Lake, and Forster finds her, you know, and he kind of, he like becomes so like obsessed, but like not in a creepy way, with her, and he's like a struggling artist, and she kind of like reignites his inspiration for like art and things like that, and he's like painting all these beautiful paintings and like selling them all and getting all the money, and it's like Yes King. And there's also like found family in there, like Forster falling out with his family, they've disowned him, but he's got these two friends that are like his family, which is also a really cute little thing that's in there, but it is mainly about Detta and Forrester's love. It does flash back to being Detta's point of view before she became a swan, and like what led to it, how she got turned into a swan, why, by whom, you know, all that good stuff. And yeah, I will say, have some tissues nearby. Have some tissues. Trust me. Okay, again, we have the next two books are by the same author. So let's start with, because this is the one I read first, An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. Oh, how pretty is the cover? Stunning behaviour. It's actually, hold on, how many pages is this? This is so short. That's a sneak peek of Sorcery of Thorns. Where is the end of this book? It's only 300 pages. She's skinny. She's a skinny legend. Also, it's floppy, so you don't have to worry about cracking the spine. Things we love to see. Anyway, so I think this is one of the first fantasy books I read after getting back into the genre in like my second year of uni. My friend recommended it to me. But yeah, let's read the blurb. Every enchantment has a price. Isabel is a prodigy. Try it again. Isabel is a prodigy portrait artist with a dangerous set of clients, the immortal fair folk. But when she receives her first royal patron, Rook, the Autumn Prince, she makes a terrible mistake. She paints mortal sorrow in his eyes, a weakness that could cost him his life. Furious, Rook spirits Isabel away to stand trial for her crime. I literally don't remember this. But something is seriously amiss in his world, and they are attacked from every side. Forced to depend upon each other for survival, their alliance blossoms into trust, perhaps even love, a forbidden emotion that would render both their lives forfeit. What force could Isabel's paintings conjure that is powerful enough to defy the ancient malice of the fairy courts? God, why don't I remember anything? Like, this hasn't even, like, rung a bell. But I just remember it was so good. It was really good, even though I don't remember it. It was so good. It was. I'm telling you, it was. I promise, it was. But as you can guess, I'm sure it's obvious, Isabel and Rook, you know, they like each other. Eventually. Yeah, we're gonna need Goodreads for this one because I do not remember. Okay, so this first one. This is the type of story that leaves an impression on you. It does, it's left an impression on me, I just don't remember anything about it. I'm not joking when I say this is absolutely hands down the most beautiful book I've read. Okay, I clearly need to reread this as well because I don't remember. Let me read the first page. Let me see if it jogs anything. Hold on, give me like a minute. Oh, short chapters we love. Also, like the writing's like quite, I don't know, I think it's like good, it's a good size, it's good print. Okay. Okay, yeah, no, it's a good book. The world building is good. The world building is good. It holds true to so much existing folklore, but at the same time it is totally unique and a free breath of air. Yeah, so there's like some things that like, you know, like stereotypical like fairies would, you know, do. So like they're vain, things like that, but there's also like extra tidbits of like, I don't remember this book. Oh, I shouldn't have put this one in here because now I just look like a fool, or it looks like the book isn't good. And the book is good, I promise. I promise you the book is good. The book is good. Oh, yeah, I remember that. So the fair folk, they can't create their own crafts. That's why they come to Isabel for portraits. And that's why the humans do so much trade with them. Because they're like obsessed with the crafts. They just can't, because they can't do it themselves. But like everyone's kind of like taught to be like wary of them or like scared of them. Yeah. Okay, ringing bells. Okay, so fairies don't have emotions. So that's why he's mad, because there's sorrow in his eyes and makes him look weak, because fairies can't have emotions. So he's like, you gotta come back with me. And I do think there's like lots of action trying to get to the Autumn Court. Oh, it's hair in my brain. Trying to remember this book. Oh, but guys, it's just really good. Maybe, oh my god, should we all read it together? Should I reread? Oh my gosh, wait. Should I start a book club? Should we read this? Maybe this should be my pick for our book when it's my turn at work. Oh, I don't know. Damn. It's good. The romance is good. Oh my god, guys, it's good, okay? Can you just take my word for it? Please don't, like, quiz me on it anymore, alright? It's good. Next up, also by Margaret Rogerson, is Sorcery of Thorns. I remember this one a lot more, for some reason. I think I read it, like, immediately after I read Enchantment of Ravens. Oh, that's why it's called... Okay, no, I just remembered why it's called An Enchantment of Ravens. I don't know if it's a spoiler, though, so I'm not gonna say. But there's an enchantment of ravens. Just remembered it. Look how cool this cover is, because it's like a little bit short. I just think that's really cool. Again, I bought this because my friend had it. I think she bought them together, and I was with her when she unboxed them because she ordered them. And I was like, these covers are stunning. Oh, no, wait, Enchantment of Ravens. She lent me her copy, and then I was obsessed with it, bought my own, bought Sorcery of Thorns. That's what happened. So that was like 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago. That was a while ago. Yeah. Anyway, Sorcery of Thorns, also by Margaret Rogerson. All sorcerers are evil. Elizabeth has known that as long as she has known anything. Raised as a foundling in one of Austermere's great libraries, Elizabeth has grown up among magical grimoires that rattle breath iron chains, capable of transforming into... that rattle beneath iron chains, capable of transforming into grotesque monsters. When an act of sabotage releases the library's most dangerous grimoire, Elizabeth is accused of treason. With no one to turn to but her sworn enemy, the sorcerer Nathaniel Thorne, and his mysterious servant, she finds herself entangled in a centuries-old conspiracy. Not only could the great libraries go up in flames, but the world along with them. I think I devoured this book in like 2 days, I kid you not. I was obsessed with it. Again, romance, forbidden, enemies to lovers. Same with Enchantment of Ravens, it's got those tropes. Lots of adventure, great characters, like great characters. And yeah, again, the world building's really good. The like how she like conveys to you the rules of magic in this world. Stunning. Let's go to the Goodreads reviews, because that's kind of like my 2 cents on it. That's all I remember. That's kind of the end of my knowledge. I wish I remembered things like a normal person, but I don't. Okay, so somebody has said, Sorcery of Thorns is equal parts whimsical, flirtatious, and totally hysterical. Yeah, I do remember it being kind of funny. While still managing to deliver a gut punch of feels on more than one occasion. Yes. See, I don't remember anything, but I just remember these feelings. I'm like, yes, that feels right. This story is an absolute blast to read and can be thoroughly entertained all the way through. Yeah, Elizabeth is a great character. Nathaniel, chef's kiss. Yeah, cute romance, a bit of found family, strong female character. Those are... Ooh, here's a little quote. Most people grow out of fairy stories, he said. Why did you carry on believing when the rest of the world did not? What is the point of life if you don't believe in anything? She asked instead. They're it's a cute book. Yeah, both... See, now I'm like feeling sleepy because I've just like exhausted my brain trying to remember these two books. I shouldn't have put them in the video because now I look like an idiot. I'm just trying to remember things. But the only things I remember are probably spoilers. There's a lot of action. There's a point where I was like... There's a couple points that I was like, oh! Yeah, Messing With My Heart, Margaret Rogerson. Yeah, it's a good book. They're both very, very good books. Would really recommend it. Even though you might think, surely it can't be that good if you don't remember anything about it. But like, no, I do. It was good. I just can't remember. It was good. It's not my fault that I'm silly. They're all good. Okay, finally, this book is still in progress. I'm still reading this, but we're just gonna really quickly talk about The Poisons We Drink by Bethany Baptiste. This is my ARC that I got through work. The paperback is officially out now. It is out if you wanted to get yourself a copy. It's stunning. If you follow me on Instagram, you might remember that I was lucky enough to receive through work a little PR box ahead of its release. Oh, it's behind me. Yeah, a little PR box ahead of its release that had the book. It had a little pin badge. It had some roses that you could like put in your tea or whatever. It had a letter by Miss Bethany, a little bookmark, and then it had some character cards, which I think are so cute. And now that I've started reading the book and I actually know who everybody is, they're just even cuter. Immediately yes to the pink hair. I think one of the things I love most about this book is like the representation. So there is a non-binary character in there. Their name is Presley, and just I'm trying to like put it into words because I think the representation is just so beautiful. And basically like it's never stated, like it's never like, oh, Presley was non-binary. It's just like when Presley is introduced, just immediately it's the pronoun is just like they. Just immediately, like, you know how like if just like a female character is there, no one's like, oh, she is a biological female, you know. It's just the way it's done, I think, is so beautiful, and I think the representation is so like such a gorgeous thing. And you're just like, I was gonna say like it's so normalized, like it should be normalized, but I feel like maybe sometimes in society it's not. But I think this book does a really good job of just being like, Presley, they, you know. That was like a bit of a tangent, but if you want your books with more representation, definitely hit this up. It is so good. I have not finished it, but it's such a good read. Like, it's very fast paced. I feel like something happens in every chapter. I am never ever bored. My manager has read all of it, and they were like, oh, the twists, the turns, like whiplash. So I'm very excited to read more of it. But yeah, this I believe is a standalone, unless it's going to end on a really massive cliffhanger. Then it might end up being a what do you call it, a series. But I believe it's a standalone. Yeah, that's that. So those are all the books I had to show you today. I'm sorry that my brain is not normal and I couldn't remember that much about a lot of them. Yeah, soz. Especially those Margaret Rogerson ones. It's really annoying me as well because I know they are so good. Like, they're so good. So the fact that I can't remember, I don't want that to put you guys off. Because they are so good. They are so good. So please do pick those up if you're interested. I love them. Let's all read them together. But yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Please go follow my Instagram and my TikTok. And give this video a thumbs up. Tell your friends to subscribe to my channel. And yeah, that is the end. Goodbye. Bye bye, 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 bye.